Hi Aquarius, and welcome to your October 2024 horoscope. The beginning of October has a couple of challenging transits, but it's nothing that we cannot handle. And you'd be happy to know the second half is a little bit more easygoing. So we have a lot to get through today, so let's just jump right into it. We start off the month on October 2nd with a solar eclipse, or also known as a new moon in Libra. For you, Aquarius, this new moon will be happening in your 9th house of travel, education, and just in general life philosophy. You might be experiencing new beginnings in this area. Maybe something is happening with the education you're taking, or perhaps you are something's happening with your travels, with your plans to travel. At the same time, I do want to let you know that this new moon is conjunct Mercury, which represents our intellect, our thoughts. Therefore, a lot of this faded new beginning might be more on the intellectual level, might be more about realizations rather than us taking external actions. So keep that in mind. And I think one other important thing to note about this solar eclipse is that it is happening in the decan, or the third of the sign of Libra, that is ruled by Uranus. And all of that jargon basically means that we have things that might be happening suddenly or unexpectedly, because the planet Uranus is the planet of unexpected changes. And one final thing I will mention about the solar eclipse is that we have a lot of planets retrograde during this time. Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto are all retrograde. So don't be afraid if the things happening around this eclipse make you want to withdraw, reflect, and just be on your own. There's a lot of this energy, planets going retrograde. So a lot of internal introspective energy going on during this eclipse. If you do want to learn more about the eclipse or this eclipse season in general, I will link here the eclipse live that I did so you can watch and learn more about it there. But for now, we do need to move on to the rest of October. 2 days later, on October 4th, we have Saturn trining Venus. For you, Aquarius, Saturn is in your 2nd house and Venus is in your 10th house. And this is a supporting aspect. So some of the constraints that you've been experiencing in your finances, maybe you've been trying to be very disciplined with your money, is translating into something beautiful and harmonious happening in your career. It could be that you are inspiring others at your career place, at your workplace, of how you've been handling money, how you've been disciplined, respectful, showing up for yourself, and therefore you're given more opportunities at your work, or you're able to strengthen your relationships with your colleagues. And this can also manifest vice versa. So the attention you've been giving to your workspace, the relationships you've been cultivating there, the harmony and beauty you have been bringing to that area of your life is also helping you, motivating you, perhaps making it easier for you to continue to show up for yourself, to continue to be disciplined, to continue to just show respect to yourself by going to bed on time, to not doing activities that you know are harmful to you, to really take care of yourself, not just financially, but also in all other aspects of your life. Then we get to October 9th, and it's around this period, October 9th to October 11th, that we have two planets changing the directions of their movement. And again, this is all perception. No planet changes the direction of their movement, but it's just how it appears to us here on this earth. So on October 9th, we have Jupiter going retrograde. And then on October 11th, we have Pluto going direct. And it's these moments when a planet switches its movement, whether from going direct to retrograde or from going retrograde to direct. Those specific moments are usually the ones that we feel the strongest or sort of jolts us in whatever we are doing. So for you, Aquarius, Jupiter has been in your 5th house since May of this year, and it's now going to go retrograde. So you might especially be reflecting on all of the opportunities you've received in terms of pleasures, in terms of just daily enjoyment, maybe new hobbies, or all of the social activities you have gotten to enjoy since May. And you might be reflecting on, are you taking them for granted? Are you using them properly, taking advantage of all of these opportunities? Are you maybe becoming too haughty with some of these opportunities? And should you maybe tone it down a little bit? And then, as I mentioned, on October 11th, Pluto goes direct. So for you, Aquarius, Pluto is going direct in your 12th house. And it's finally on its way out permanently out of your 12th house. So this is the time to sort of put your money where your mouth is and to really prove to yourself that you have understood the power and purpose of compassion, the power and purpose of spirituality, the power and purpose of letting things go and not always holding onto everything tightly. Then on October 13th and 14th, we have the Sun trining Jupiter, which can sometimes symbolize like a very exciting, optimistic, a little bit egotistical type of day. However, on this day, we also have 2 more challenging aspects. So my sort of word of advice during October 13th and 14th is to be careful not to get too ahead of yourself, to be careful not to think too loftily or get too excited and sort of try to run before you walk. So the 2 more challenging aspects that are happening on October 13th and 14th are the Sun squaring Mars and Venus opposing Uranus. The trine between the Sun and Jupiter is an air sign, so you are most likely excited intellectually, or you have some ideas that are quite grandiose, ideas that excite you, ideas that feel very expansive. But because we have that square with Mars, it's almost as if your actions cannot keep up. Your courage, your ability to put them into practice cannot keep up or is limited in some way and cannot carry out your grandiose ideas. And because Venus is opposing Uranus, you might also feel this pull between, but I do want to do these ideas. They're original, they're unique, they are different from the rest, they are unexpected, quirky. And at the same time, you might also feel this pull of, but maybe that will set me apart from the crowd. Maybe I do enjoy the comfort and safety of belonging, of being part of a community, of being able to relate to others. So that's why I do caution against getting too ahead of yourself when this trine between the Sun and Jupiter happens. And for you, Aquarius, more specifically, we might see you getting a little bit ahead of yourself when it comes to travel or education or life philosophies, and also getting too ahead of yourself when it comes to pleasureful items, eating amazing things, focusing too much maybe on having fun and hobbies, or overdoing it at parties, for example. And you might feel that sort of restriction pulling you back or holding you back. And that could be, for example, your routine, that your routine is saying, yeah, okay, remember, you cannot attend every party that you get invited to. And that could be the thing that sort of holds you back, or your routine might not allow for you to expand fully into this excited state of pleasure and fun, there just might not be enough space in your day for all of those fun activities that you would like to do. Then on October 17th, we have a full moon in the sign of Aries. The moon is in your third house, Aquarius, while the sun is in your ninth house. So during this full moon, you might be seeing your communication, maybe your ability to teach or speak in a new light. You might be understanding it in a way that you have never understood it before. And specifically, you might be stepping into that courage or that independence when it comes to your communication. Venus is sextiling Pluto on this day. So you might especially see your workplace play a role into this communication or presentation or teaching. And you might especially find this idea of compassion and spirituality continue to come up as well on this day. I know that seems quite broad, but if I was to give one example, something that could perhaps happen is you have an opportunity to speak or present at your workspace. And in order to do a good job, you need to touch base into that compassion and that spiritual side of you so that you're able to not only speak in of Aries fashion, of boldness and in a bold and a courageous way, but you're also able to reach the audience in a way that truly touches them and in a way that, they feel truly understood as a human being. All right, so we've reached the second half of October, and I promise the second half will be a little bit more easygoing. On October 18th, for example, we have Venus entering the sign of Sagittarius. For you, Aquarius, this is your 11th house. So you might be very focused on making your community, your friendship groups, and bringing like a lot of beauty or harmony there. I really think about like bringing your friend a very nice gift or having gatherings with a group and focusing a lot on making that enjoyable and beautiful. Having the candles on, having delicious food or some nice music playing in the background. Then on October 22nd, we have the sun at the final degrees of the sign of Libra. And before it enters Scorpio, it does square Pluto, who is in the final degrees of Capricorn. So even though this can be intense, it is quite fast. And therefore, it might not be an intense event that makes a huge impact on your entire life, but more in the sense that it is intense, but it's something that perhaps only impacts you for a couple of days at most. For you, Aquarius, the Sun and Pluto are activating your 9th and 12th house, asking you whether you can bring compassion and all of the things you've learned about spirituality into your life philosophy. Can you let it influence your values? Can you let it influence your way of traveling? Can you let it influence the types of education or learning that you do? The day after, on October 23rd, after the sun has squared Pluto, then it enters the sign of Scorpio. For you, Aquarius, this is your 10th house. So if you ever feel down and unmotivated in October, it could be because you're not spending enough time on your career. With the sun being in your 10th house, it shows that you are going to feel alive and energetic when it comes to your career topics. So I would suggest spend some more time there and enjoy it. Use this energy that you get from your career at this time to perhaps excel or do a little bit more than you usually do. So there are a couple of transits, not too many, about 3 that I'm leaving out and not mentioning here. Some of them sextiles and usually they're quite small, sometimes quite unnoticeable. So I take whatever time I can save and usually don't include them. However, on the 24th, there is one sextile that I do want to talk about. a sextile between Mars and Uranus. And because both of these planets can be quite explosive and quite out there, I think it is important to mention it here today. Uranus and Mars are activating your fourth and sixth house. So, therefore, it could be that all of the courageous actions you've been taking with your routine and with your health are having a positive impact on your home life and on your family. Perhaps allowing you to set up your own unique situation, your own unique living situation, to set up your home in a way that makes sense for you and works just for you. And it could work the other way around as well. If you have been really standing up and being your unique self with your family, not falling into the trap of going with the herd, allowing yourself to be defined by the expectations that your family has of you, you will see it positively translate into your routine. You will see it give you a type of energy and drive and passion to get up in the morning, to take care of your body, to work out, to eat healthy. And finally, we round off the month on October 28th with a more supportive aspect, which is a trine between Venus and Saturn. So overall, Aquarius, I think it's a fairly interesting October month ahead for you. Some focus on career, some focus on travel, education, maybe even some life values, philosophies that you're really thinking about. And then, of course, we see self-respect, self-love, and self-acceptance, a really key thing for you in October, especially because Saturn is still there in your second house. So thanks for joining me, Aquarius. As always, if you want to look a little bit more into the eclipse at the beginning of the month, I will link the eclipse live that I did right here so you can learn more about it. Thanks for joining me, Aquarius, and I hope to see you again soon.